Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love talking about Isaiah 117 House. We're honored to be joined by Jessica Biggs, Davidson County Program Coordinator. How are you doing?
I am great, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. So when you look at being able to pour into youth, make transitions very easy, you do a lot of good. And so let's go ahead and start with a little bit of context. When you talk about Isaiah 117 House, give us some background for the organization, and then we'll dive into the local efforts.
Sure. So the organization started with founder Rhonda Paulson, and in 2014, she and her husband decided to kind of look into foster care. At that point, she knew nothing about it. And so they did the 8-week course. And once they did that, I think maybe one of the last weeks, they actually did kind of a field trip, I guess you could say, to DCS office. And that's when she realized that kids were sleeping on floors in the offices. And so that definitely was heartbreaking. And so she knew then that she had to do something. God, was calling her to do something. And so with that, she kind of rallied in her hometown of Carter County in Northeast Tennessee. And, she started a house. What if there's a home? And so that was great. And this small town, came together and did that. But little did she know that God had bigger plans. And so, here we are today. But, since then, I think 2018 was the year that Carter County opened. And since then, we have across maybe 8 states, 16 open homes, and 42 plus. I don't want to get the number wrong because daily that changes, which is a huge problem to have, a blessing, But so something that started so small is growing across the country, and it's making a huge impact. So I'm so thankful, to have the opportunity to be a part of it in Davidson County for sure.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive in. For Davidson County, give us some background.
Okay. So Davidson County, the way our story kind of started was that we have expansion coordinators, Mary and Terry Hill, that actually were the ones who saw the need and reached out to Isaiah 117 House. And they have a pretty powerful story themselves. And I'm thankful that they did that. They knew, though, that going into it, long term, they did not want to take on the role of program coordinator. So here I am. We had a mutual friend, and God works in mysterious ways. And so I am able to kind of take on that transition of the program coordinator. And with that, I'll be taking care of daily duties, scheduling of volunteers, right now overseeing renovation and things like that.
So when you look at the home, and as you mentioned, it's a physical home. And so give us some perspective on the home, the model, the importance of it, especially for the youth. So go ahead and dive in.
Okay, so our home definitely needs a little or maybe a lot TLC, and that's okay. The before and after is going to be great when we're able, we get to that point. But it's a great location in East Nashville, and it's gonna be there to provide a safe, loving home place for kids on their most traumatic day, removal day, and to where they can come in and ask for what they want to eat. They have some choices in the matter, and know that they can take a shower or choose a bubble bath, and really kind of just love on them, show them that it's not their fault, and provide a place for DCS that we can work alongside them and kind of help lighten their load. There's a lot on their plate. And then also, we want to focus on, there's a problem. We realize that. And how can we help future foster families to say yes? So that might look like maybe there's a family that is willing to say yes to a newborn or a baby, but they don't have a crib. So that's something that, we partner with and we provide for them, make things a little easier.
And when you look at it from the perspective of the audience, I mean, just think about it as a child who's being pulled from the family that, they've been living with and know well. So they're pulled from their family, and all of a sudden they're thrust into this kind of cold, sterile office. And to your point, having to sleep on the floors, and, you don't have access to really a bathroom, a shower, food, like all those things. You're in an office complex, basically living in an office. To be able to have a home where there's love and care and food and clothes and a bathroom and TV, and you can, like all of that stuff allows a child to be a child. But at the same time, like you said, with DCS, to work through a home environment versus a sterile office environment, there's a lot in terms of just the respect, the character for the child. And I think those are important elements when you talk about making the transition as easy as possible. It's a very difficult situation, obviously, but as easy as possible for them. And then on the other side, making it easy, like you said, for the foster parents and DCS, so that everybody is working together through a much better system for the child. Now, obviously, those are my words, but give us kind of your vantage point on why this is so important for the child, for our community, and the stakeholders.
Sure. So, going back to was saying, mentioning respect and dignity. So I have 3 teenagers of my own, and I try to put myself in those situations, or my kids in those, kind of in their shoes. And I can't imagine having a child that is ripped away from their family, and maybe they've gathered a few of their belongings in a trash bag. The dignity that we can give back by providing a duffel bag with, personal hygiene items and new tennis shoes that you wouldn't believe some of the, it's the little things that makes a huge difference for these kids, and that they're appreciative, so that's important. It's super important. And by doing this, if, we can help in any way, make those days, those transitional trauma days easier, then, obviously we want to be able to do that.
You mentioned having a friendship in terms of how you got involved with Isaiah 117 House. Give us your personal vantage point in terms of why you decided to get involved with Isaiah 117 House.
Sure. So, I don't have a foster parent background. And I'm actually a former special education teacher. But with that, I had students that I saw go through these situations, and it is heartbreaking. And to where they didn't know from night to night where they were going to be. And maybe, they didn't have lunch money, or they were wearing clothes that didn't fit, so there are all those things that when this came full circle and the opportunity presented itself, I knew that this is where I needed to be.
When you look at the volunteers, and as you mentioned, kind of the in-kind donations of clothing and shoes and toothbrushes and toothpaste and all that kind of stuff, how can the community help? Because obviously financial contributions to underwrite your efforts. So talk about all the different ways the community can help.
Sure. So the biggest thing is spreading awareness, and thank you for letting us do that here, because we have found that when the community knows, the community will step up, and Nashville is great about that. So just knowing that you can give, it's not just financial. Obviously, that makes a huge difference, because that's going to support the construction process. It's going to support, it would give us opportunities to maybe help with DCS meals and appreciation, things like that. But there are also other ways. For instance, once the house is up and running and our red doors open for guests, we'll be responsible for mowing and, those types of everyday things. So there really is something for everyone. Also volunteers, obviously are going to need volunteers that can, be hands-on. And there's a training process with that. So just across the board, there's so many, ways that the community can use their skills and talents, to help.
Give us some time frames when you look at the home being ready to open, looking out in terms of, the future ahead and some of the vision moving forward. What does some of those time frames look like?
So obviously we would love to have opened yesterday, you know, but we've had a few setbacks with renovation. Of course, if you're familiar with construction and renovation, that's just part of it. But within the next couple of weeks, we're hoping to get the go ahead to move forward. We actually have demoed the inside, so it's down to the studs. And I can't say enough about our construction and design team and architects, because they're phenomenal and they've been meeting for months now. And we have blueprints and, things ready. And so as soon as we get the okay, there's no doubt that we'll get to, play catch up, I guess you could say. I would love to be able to have a Christmas tree in this house.
When you look at that sort of, design and opportunity to kind of make it your own, with the renovations, what are some of the special things that put a smile on your face when you look at being able to make it a home, make it your own, opening for Christmas and having a Christmas tree? What are some of the special things that you think are really going to make this home unique?
So, making it unique, we may not think about it, but, the little things like snacks are a huge deal. These kids coming into a clean house that is fully stocked, that they'll have their own toothbrush. They'll have, access to a shower. They'll be able to choose toys to play with or puzzles or, a backyard. Right now, we already have, with the kindness of the community, we have a playhouse that is pink. And David Weekly Homes helped with that. And you can go on our website and see that. And it's going to look amazing in the backyard. And I just picture kids, their eyes lighting up, being able to see those types of things right after they've experienced, the trauma from being removed from their mom and dad.
Do you have a chance to interact with any of the other Isaiah 117 houses to hear the impact and the stories and what it means to the youth and the community? Do you have a chance to kind of see any of that play out to inspire you and the volunteers and donors and getting involved?
Absolutely. That is one of the greatest things about this organization, because we have such a close-knit family and everyone truly becomes family. The week training that I attended months ago, I left feeling like they were family. And, that they're just a phone call away or a Zoom away, or, if we're able, we support each other. We just went to Memphis several weeks ago to help them with their kickoff and those types of things. And, the beauty about it too, is that those that have already, everybody's kind of been in the same stage of the process, I guess. So if we have questions, somebody's been there and done that. And hey, this is, to support each other, or, times are going to be tougher. That's just a setback. Or, hey, praise God, this is amazing. Look what, there's a lot that we have a huge support system, and that truly makes a difference.
How does this change your perspective in terms of your ability to make a difference? Obviously, as you mentioned, you've got the education background. You've seen firsthand with your students, what going through this can do to them. You see the potential, a huge opportunity here, but what inspires you? What adds fuel to your fire to make this happen?
So we have a group message, an organization for those that message that those that have open houses, and we're required, and they're required. Obviously, I don't have an open house yet, but to give updates of guests, kids that come in, and just very brief, like just ages and those types of things. That is a daily reminder that this problem is real, and that newborns, that 17-year-olds, that teenagers, that daily need placement. And so that's kind of what is fueling my fire right now. And the fact that I'm not sure what God wants to do later, maybe the foster journeys in my future, or it's to be able to continue to spread awareness and help those that are able to do that.
We'll wrap up with contact information. So where can we go to learn more, to get involved with Isaiah 117 House?
Sure. So you can go to Isaiah117house.com, and through that, you can just choose Davidson County. We also have Facebook and Instagram, Isaiah 117 House, Davidson COTN. And I like to put all of the happenings on there. You can sign up for a newsletter. We have a monthly meeting, and that's the fourth Tuesday of every month. So all of that's listed there, and we'd love to have, people to come and bring a friend or five, and just, we want to see this grow and just continue to add to our team.
Absolutely. So again, the website, Isaiah117house.com, and that's Isaiah 117. So the numbers 117house.com, Isaiah 117 House. Jessica, thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. Really appreciate it.